Welcome back, and you're watching Breakfast Show on Nile TV International, and in this segment we will be discussing some of the major economic agreements and memorandums of understanding which were signed during this week. One following the visit of French President François Hollande to Egypt, which actually included the signing of around 18 agreements, especially in the field of energy as well as in the field of military agreements as well, and telecommunications. The second is about the visit of the German delegation, which was headed by Vice Chancellor and the Minister of Economic Affairs, Sigmar Gabriel, to Egypt as well, which also resulted in more agreements. And joining us right now in the studio to shed more light on these topics, we have with us Professor of Economics, Dr. Yomn Hamaki. Dr. Yomn, welcome with us and good morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Dr. Yomn, how do you evaluate the number of memorandum of understandings and agreements that was signed by with the French side and also with the visiting German delegation to Egypt?
I think this is reflecting to a large extent, the importance of our relation with France. You know that we have a historical relationship with France, and in this period specifically we need to enhance our relation with the EU countries, on top of them France. You know what, as you mentioned regarding memorandum of understanding and agreements that have been signed during the visit, it has its importance since Egypt now is moving towards, significant, important rise of its economic development plan. We have mega projects, Suez Canal, we have the reclamation of 1.5 million Faddan, and we have other projects. You know that we are not actually exploiting all our resources efficiently. We have been concentrating on, specific cities in Egypt that all investment are concentrated in these three areas as Cairo and Alexandria. These 75% of investment have been concentrated, leaving the majority, more than 90% of our land are not exploited efficiently enough. From here it comes the importance of mega project. And when we have the Suez Canal access, it means that we need to invest this important geographic location for the benefit of the countries of the world, which from here it comes the importance that France is having opportunities, French investors that can come and have investment in this area to benefit from the geographic position. At the same time, Egypt is having significant, agreement and economic integration with Arab countries and African countries. With Arab countries, we have the free trade area, including Arab countries, and with African countries, the declaration of Sharm el-Sheikh last year that the three economic integration, the most important three economic integration are now gathered into one free trade area incorporating 26 African countries. From here it comes that if France is going to have investment in this important area, it's going to have an opportunity to tap all this market. And this is the importance of having this type of partnership with France. So a lot of things have been done regarding this visit. Not only from the political point of view, which is quite important for this period, as the Arab countries are facing severe challenges, as well as France and Europe, they are facing the challenge of terrorism. And you know that France has been affected seriously by terrorists for the last period. Harmonizing efforts regarding combating terrorism is quite essential, and it has its importance in this visit. As well as, harmonizing efforts regarding the top hot issues regarding Libya and the problem of Syria and of Yemen. So here it comes that we have mutual benefit regarding not only political side and as well as economic side. The concentration for this agreement was for renewable energy, I believe.
Yes.
You know that we have a very good relation with France regarding underground. They helped Egypt a lot to have different, we have different stages, and they are going to complete this way in order to enhance our capabilities for internal transportation, which is quite essential for economic activities in Egypt. Besides is, the importance of renewable energy. We have several agreements regarding solar energy, and solar energy is quite important for Egypt since it is a very important way not only to tap all these uninhabited areas, like because if you want to expand investment and economic activities into all areas of Egypt, you have to start with energy. So solar energy is essential for that. Besides, we need to develop our technology. That the transfer of technology of solar energy is essential regarding its cost. From here it comes that Egypt could be a hub for, exporting solar energy, since we succeed to transfer technology into Egypt. So this is essential, having this type of cooperation between Egypt and France regarding transferring of technology, and then having mega projects to be transferred into Arab countries as well as African countries.
Right now, all these memorandums of agreements are being signed, but what about the infrastructure in Egypt and the laws? Are we ready to be able to really implement such agreements?
We have been doing quite well regarding infrastructure. Actually, for a long time, we have a lot of achievements regarding infrastructure, and specifically for the last 2 years, there have been, tremendous action regarding improving infrastructure, regarding, ways of, transportation, and improving infrastructure of, ports, our ports. A lot has been done regarding enhancing infrastructure in Egypt. But the problem is in handling investment, which means that since Sharm el-Sheikh, the President al-Sisi declared that we need to enhance our investment climate. It's quite well known, since just we need to refer to Doing Business Index to know the position of Egypt. It's not in a good position, which means that we are confronting some challenges regarding how to enhance climate of investment. And I believe tremendous work after reshufflement of, after the new, ministry came lately. I believe that they are concentrating on enhancing the climate of investment by reducing the one-stop shop, which we are talking a lot about it, and till now we need specific action to be done. But besides, a lot of actions now are taking part regarding how to improve this climate of investment. This is a good challenge to be addressed if we want to enhance investment. And every visit, like French presidents and before the delegation of German, we have been talking about settlement of disputes. And we have now mechanism in our ministries nowadays, a very important mechanism to settle dispute. And this is a very important mechanism for this period, because you aren't in a transition period. And since you are trying to enhance your climate of investment, there is still some challenges to be addressed. And I believe that this mechanism to settle disputes is quite important, since it has been working quite well for the last period. And this has been declared by the visit of Saudi, and they declared that 80% of problems have been solved before the visit of King Salman to Egypt. So this is declaring that there is an effort is exerted in order to address this problem.
Dr. Yomna, there are almost 18 memorandum of understanding and agreements were signed. Can you highlight the most important of them, and do we need now memorandum of understandings, or we need real projects with France to be implemented on the ground?
You know that this memorandum of understanding should be translated into action on the ground, which needs action plan to be done, and hard work not only from the ministries here, but with civil society too, because you know the issue is that any economic development or any advancement of any economy, it needs the cooperation between civil society and the ministries. And I believe what is quite giving, that we are optimistic about the situation, that there is tendency to specify these challenges and to address it properly one by one. So I believe this is good. On top of, as answering your question, on top of, the agreement, I like it, it's in renewable energy, like in solar and wind energy actually, but there is a lot that has been done regarding, from the French agency of assistance to Egypt here. It has been working quite well, and a lot of things has happened regarding, or a lot of agreement have been signed regarding, addressing slums, the problem of slums, improving, the situation of poor people in different areas, and having some project regarding economic empowerment of poor people to address poverty in Egypt. I believe, to organize and to have some kind of plans regarding the direction of assistance is quite important for any type of relation. So when this assistance, it should address the topics that could be reflected on economic situation, right? A part of it is training, improving skills, and skills, the importance of enhancing productivity of Egyptians, labor market. In the labor market, this could affect seriously the productivity of working and making flexibility in the labor market, which is essential for any investment to come. So having this cooperation in technical training, I believe, is quite important. I can see it as a very important step towards enhancing investment between the two countries. So I believe, that this visit can be regarded as a very successful visit. It could be a start-up for renewable, or renewing, the relationship between France. I can add to this, all types of memorandum of understanding that have been signed regarding enhancing tourism, cooperation in, how to, preserve and maintenance of monuments. And we have this kind of cooperation between our museums and the French museum. The Louvre is having a very good reputation, and there is, experts working there. So having this type of cooperation between our experts could be reflected positively on tourism.
Also, there were talks about the signing of an agreement concerning satellite and telecommunication. Yes. That's quite interesting, because that's dedicated to military use. What's your comment on that?
This is, we are in a globalization and revolution of information, so it is quite important to, and this, it has been proved that it has its positive and negative sides. From here it comes that Egypt has done well regarding information technology. We are working quite hard in order to cope with all advancement regarding this. And we have, our calibers. The Egyptians are quite smart. We are gaining, several positions all around the world in information technology. So I believe that we are trying to cope with the advancement in this level, but at the same time harmonizing effort and sharing information and trying to benefit from this information for mutual benefit of the two countries, I believe is quite important. So this agreement could help to achieve that. You know, Egypt is needing quite well this type of information because, as I mentioned, you know, since you have unexploited resources, you know, I will just mention mineral resources in Egypt. Mineral resources in Egypt, you know, we haven't been successful at all for the last period to utilize or to best exploit mineral resources. And nowadays, we are starting to have a new law of mineral resources, the situation we are going to attract foreign direct investment. You know that this type of investment is needing, you know, mega project and, you know, intensive investment. So the role of multinationals and foreign direct investment is quite essential. We're going to attract, this is quite important, it's going to make a transformation in Egypt. Why? Because investment from one part, from another, mineral resources can be diffused to other industries. So there is going to be potential for multinationals to come, like in several industries are going to be open and to be competitive in Egypt regarding when you have your own mineral resources.
Dr. Yomn, how can we benefit from the experience of the French and the German in the field of the small projects?
Well, you know, we need this expert actually, and this is a very, thank you for this question, because, you know, in Egypt we need to enhance the situation of SMEs actually. We have been talking about that for more than 20 years, you know. I have been talking, I have a lot of researches about that, and even the evaluation of organization working in this field. The issue is, you know, that these experiences that have been successful, when you would like to benefit from it, first of all, you have to position your situation. What is your, you know, because we have been talking, we studied all successful experiences. We have everything. We have, you know, even a roadmap about what should be done. Our problem here regarding, you know, enhancing the situation of SMEs is about the implementation, is about who is responsible for SMEs. You have different organizations and banking sector are working without any harmonization amongst their efforts. This is the main or the real challenge facing SMEs, which means that you have banking sector, you have the social fund of development, you have some ministries are working, you have NGOs, and since you have these, you know, bodies that are working without any harmonization, that's why you cannot achieve significant results. And from here it comes that we have been talking about having one institution or even minister that is responsible for, you know, in India they have a minister for SMEs. And during, you know, my position in Shura Council, we have been meeting with this minister, and you know, she addressed to how extent this is reflecting the importance of SMEs in India. And you know that India now, with SMEs, they have significant economic growth. You know, the SMEs are playing significant role in India nowadays. Hopefully that we can have this type of harmonization among institutions working in SMEs. Why? Because we have a very large or we have very high unemployment, reached 13%. This is very high. And without addressing SMEs, we cannot address the problem of unemployment, you know, because even if you have very large, you know, share of investment or you enhance the investment, unless you have self-employment, you cannot address the problem of unemployment. From here it comes the importance of having a minister or a body or institution or organization responsible for SMEs. I believe our youth, because I'm working and addressing youth all the time as professor of university, you know, they are in deep need for, support in this field. They would like to do something. They would like to change their future, but they need a comprehensive, package of services to be offered, like the experience of incubators. We need to refer to the experience of incubators.
Oh, Dr. Yomn, actually, this is an important topic that you've raised, and that would bring us also to the topic of the idea of the vocational education, because in Egypt it's not just the lack of the government care about it, but also the society, the culture of it. They don't appreciate that, and they don't understand the significance of it, although without vocational training, we cannot have industry.
We have, you are quite right, we have what is called structural unemployment from economic term, using economic term. And this means that you have a lot of businessmen and women, they are asking for skills, they cannot find it. You know that regarding ready-made clothes, I know a lot of projects, factories, they are asking for labor, they cannot find it to the extent that they are taking, the demand referring to the size of labor they can get, which means that if they can get skilled labor, they can improve their capacity of production to a large extent, and this could be reflected on exportation as well as import substitution. From here it comes, as you mentioned, the importance of vocational training and enhancing the skills of labor. A lot of problems addressing this issue, but we have to admit there's a lot of efforts nowadays being, on that track in order to address this problem. Problems is, like you mentioned, number one, about the awareness of youth. Till now, they are looking for governmental position. And why? Because till now, we don't have the reform in government. If you have a reform in your governmental bodies, which means that there is tasks for everyone, there is accountability, and you have to work for 8 hours per day. Here, you are going to know that government work is respectable work. But till now, since you consider government as you can go for 1 hour and you can go outside to look for another job and no accountability, there is going to be tendency for, a high demand for governmental work. So if you want to solve this problem, you have to reform the governmental sector, and civil society, the role of civil society also can play significant role in this awareness, and at the same time to enhance the awareness of the youth. And there is significant changes that have been done regarding, because I'm working in training youth and guide them to the opportunities of job. There is a tendency now, I can see more youth are approaching that. So this is a good sign that there is going to be more flexibility in the labor market, and hopefully that we have to work harder than that and in harmony. And yesterday we had a meeting with the Minister of Manpower actually regarding this problem. And we specify the challenges addressing, enhancing skills of youth. And I believe significant steps are going to be taken for the coming period, inshallah, to address this problem.
Dr. Yomn, as Egypt now has a problem with its economy, and you as a professor of economics, what is the quick recipe for boosting the economy?
Actually, we have the mega project nowadays, which are quite important, and we have to work systematically in order to achieve our goals for it, because it's going to be a significant change in our position. Besides, we need to address the short period, which means that we need to specify what our priorities in the short period. Our priorities, from my point of view, is to use, all productive capacities that are not used, efficiently. We have the public sector companies. A lot of capacity are not used. So we have to start with it. It's quite important. We have to strengthen on the SMEs, specifically the projects that can be started immediately. And we have a lot of, I have some projects that can be as feeding industries to the large project, as some, projects that can replace importation. A lot, if you revise the import list, you can find a lot of products that are imported and can be produced at home simply. So all this we have to work it on the short run in order to increase the capacity building of production in Egypt, enhancing, productivity of labor market, and at the same time allow for more opportunities of job for the large number of unemployed in Egypt. We have to concentrate on women. This is quite important. The role of women in economic development, because we have the lowest participation worldwide. 22% participation of women in economic activity is quite minimal, and we need to enhance it. And a report that had been declared from the IMF mentions that if the participation of women in Egypt is going to be like men, GDP growth could increase by 34%. Imagine.
Well, we hope that we can really enhance female and women empowerment in Egypt to reach the goal you've mentioned, Dr.
Inshallah.
Dr. Yomn Hamaki, thank you very much for this interview.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that was Dr. Yomn Hamaki, Professor of Economics, talking to us about some of the economic agreements signed and means of enhancing the Egyptian economy. We'll be back after the break for more on Breakfast Show, so stay with us.